Welcome to another reading vlog. If you saw my last reading vlog, you will know that it took me about a month to finish a reading vlog just because I was not finishing books again. So this one's going to start a little bit differently. I've actually finished 3 books already before, and I did not capture them on a vlog, so let's go through them. First off, I finished Confessions of an Innocent Man by David R. Dow for my Top Shelf Challenge. So I'm not going to go through it here. I'm just going to say I finally got it finished in March for, again, only finishing 1 off the shelf, but at least I'm getting something done. Then I finished an audiobook, The Widows of Malabar Hill by Sujata Massey. That is a book that will be in another video. So again, I'm not going to talk about it here, but it will be in a video where I received recommendations and I'm reading the books that I got the recommendations on. So that'll be in that video. I did finish A Killing Cold. So let's talk about that one. So Killing Cold by Kate Alice Marshall, which I do not have upstairs with me. I finished it. It was the Creepy Book Club book of the month for March. And so I read it for the book club, and we did the book club meeting last weekend. So wish me luck that I can remember character names since it's downstairs. Okay, so we have Theo, who has been dating Connor, and they've been living together, and they've gotten engaged. And they've not been together very long, and he is, of course, from a fabulously wealthy family. And it is Christmas time, and his family always goes to their lodge in the mountains to spend 2 weeks there for the Christmas holidays. And so, of course, he wants to bring Theo along because they're newly engaged. He wants her to meet the family. Now, Theo, we were told immediately, has some deep, dark secret in her past. Of course she does. This is a thriller, and she doesn't want it to come out to the family, but, you know, is that realistic? They are fabulously wealthy. Of course, they're going to do a background check on her. Why does she not think that? Why do people in thrillers never think logically about situations? I guess that's what puts them in thrillers. I don't know. Anyway, she's not realized that they're going to check her out. She has this deep, dark secret. Her biggest fear for the weekend isn't even that they're not going to like her. She does not expect them to like her. She does not expect them to accept her and think that them getting married is a good idea. However, she's worried they're going to find out about this secret, which of course they are. So, big non-spoilery information. Connor's father died several years ago when Connor was still really young, and nobody will tell her how he died, but he did die there at the lodge. And the other interesting thing about this is there is one large lodge house, and only the grandparents actually stay in the lodge. All of the other family members are put into cabins surrounding the lodge so that they have their individual cabins. But it just seems really unusual that the grandparents are in this huge lodge by themselves, but the rich are weird. So there's the thing about the dad that she's interested in, and then the other kind of odd thing is that of all these cabins, there is one that is abandoned. I mean, it's not like it's falling down decrepit, the roofs come off of it, but basically nobody stays there anymore. So Theo, of course, curiosity, decides to go to this abandoned cabin and check it out. And when she gets in there, she remembers being there before, and it's not just a sense of deja vu. She literally knows where rooms are and what color the bedspread is, and all of that. And then she finds a picture of herself when she was a child with a man who she assumes must be Connor's father in a picture together. So she's also been receiving text messages telling her to stay away from Connor. And she assumes, of course, that it has to be somebody in the family trying to get rid of her. So this is the type of thriller where there's a mystery in the past and our protagonist is trying to figure out what happened, to put all the pieces together, etc. So there's definitely a mystery element to it. There's also some jeopardy involved. I can see why it's categorized as thriller. I would definitely say because of the jeopardy, yeah, it's a thriller, and it did have a lot of mystery elements in it, though. There was a lot of whodunit. So those are the 3 books I have finished since the last update. I am currently reading Chuck Tingle's Bury Your Gaze, and I'm only about 50 pages into it, actually only 40 pages into it. I just started reading it last night. I'm reading this for Meg with Books Patreon. It is her book club read for April. And I can't really spoil it yet because I'm only 40 pages in, so I'll just give you a brief synopsis of it. Misha is a screenwriter in Hollywood, and he should be on top of the world. He's just been nominated for an Academy Award for a short film that he's made. But at the same time, he has a long-running show on a streaming service, and he's been given a command to come into the studio for a meeting with the studio head, which is never usually good news. He's hoping that it's just because it's kind of a congratulations thing because he's been nominated for an Academy Award. But he has this sense of foreboding that it's not. Now, it seems like Misha has this attraction to weird, supernatural type stories. There's a flashback chapter where he's a young kid and he's having a sleepover party for his birthday, and he wants to watch a TV show that sounds a lot like The X-Files with the secret agents exploring crazy things. And then it sounds like he's writing something very similar to that now. That's his show for the streaming service, very similar thing. 2 female lead characters, and he wants there to be, a predominant lesbian relationship played out in their relationship and their partnership with each other. And when he gets to the meeting, some odd things are happening around him that I won't go into the details on, but he's picking up some weird stuff happening. He goes in and he has the meeting, and the studio head basically tells him, yeah, you need to bury your gaze. Which I guess is a Hollywood term for a thing that has happened consistently in the industry. And in order to get another season, he has to make these changes. So he basically tells the studio head, I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. Which basically means he'll be in breach of contract, and they own the show, and there's really nothing he can do about it. As he is storming off, something tragic happens on the studio lot, and Misha is right there up close with it. The synopsis on the jacket gives this impression that the creatures, the monsters that Misha has written into his stories in the past have come to life somehow, and he's going to be running into them throughout the rest of the story. So interesting conceptually. I believe Tingle writes for Hollywood, and Chuck Tingle is um, a pseudonym, so we don't know who he really is. He even wears a bag over his head in his author photos. So it appears that he's very familiar with the world that he's writing about. He, of course, renames the studios and the shows and actors, etc., but they're very thinly veiled. My reading buddies have stopped playing, so we're going to sit back down and just read for a while. It is Saturday. I'm going to close this vlog out, even though there wasn't that much in it, just with the update that I'm about halfway done with Bury Your Gaze by Chuck Tingle. It's technically horror. I like scary stories. I like creepy stories, gothic, and suspenseful, atmospheric. I'm happy to report that so far this one is not gory. I do not like body horror. I don't like watching scary movies, and so I'm always hesitant to pick up a book unless I know somebody has read it that can tell me, yeah, no, it's not like that. And I look a mess. I spent today doing odd jobs around the house, and yesterday I bought a new bed frame and mattress, one of those adjustable ones, and that was probably too much for me to do by myself, considering the directions say lift with team. And I did it by myself, and I did it last night after work, and I thought I was going to wait to do it till this morning, and I just couldn't resist. So I did that yesterday after work, and I was exhausted by the time I was done, and I'm really sore today. I probably didn't use the best technique lifting by myself, really heavy object. So I definitely did not get prettied up this today to just do things around the house, and I knew I wasn't going out today because I'm just tired. So pardon the dark circles. So anyway, the book, I think I mentioned that he obviously lives in Southern California at a minimum. He is kind of anonymous, not kind of, he is anonymous. So it seems as though he is in the entertainment industry as a writer. So he knows the behind the scenes, but he also writes from a place where he's very descriptive about Southern California locations. And he is obviously writing about the Warner Brothers lot, but he has a different name for it. But he's describing everything from the water tower to where the entrance is located, to what the street is like, and the hill across the street from the entrance. And having grown up in Southern California, I always enjoy, regardless, I always enjoy reading about places that I know the locale, or reading about places when I'm in that locale. So I can pick out landmarks and is it realistic, yes or no? Or is it not, and the author is inventing his or her own places, experiences, etc. So he is definitely using the Warner Brothers lot in the first scene of the book significantly. It's a unique concept. I've never quite read anything like it before. I've read obviously stories about written characters or things from books coming to life or being involved in our world, but
he is very, very descriptive. And so I do like that. Now, the editing of the book is not that great. And that throws me out of a book significantly. So I am taking some points off because I don't know if it was rushed or what the situation was, but there are definitely things that just a proofreader, not even necessarily an editor, but just a proofreader could have really cleaned up and would have been good to go because it's happening a number of times. It's not just like there's one error on page 32. It's like boom, 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 boom consistently. So, but I will say, even though there's not body horror and it's not graphic so far, I won't read it after dark. I'm just a chicken. So I have probably another 20 minutes or so of reading in this today, and then I'm going to switch over to one of my other books because I won't be able to read this after dark. So that is all for this week's vlog. Tell your pets I said hi. Thanks for being with me. We didn't do any reading together this time, so this is just a really quick, short weekly vlog. But obviously, if you have watched previous vlogs, my whole entire month of March ended up in one single vlog, just simply because I couldn't get my act together and I wasn't finishing any books. So just trying to be a little more consistent and provide updates of what I did with my week, the reading I did in it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.